Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's good to be back again. It's episode 56 here of All Elite Zone, AEZ. I'm your host, Matty G, back again. And we've got a new face to the show. We got Henry. Henry, how you doing today, sir?
Pretty good in yourself.
Not too bad, not too bad. And I think Henry is in parts unknown out in the Northern Ontario. So it's
Pretty much.
pretty much. We're at, yeah. So I know you said you went between Thunder Bay and
See St. Marie.
to Saint Marie. Well, it's nice to have you aboard, and I know it looks like Connor might be on the show. We can see Connor there, but he's not feeling too well today. But that's okay. What we're going to be talking about as we approach Full Gear, AEW Full Gear, that's coming up. I think it's next week, the 23rd, I believe it is Full Gear. And it's going to be coming from New Jersey. So yeah, we're just going to kind of run down the card kind of quickly, see some of our predictions. What do we think? Especially with the storylines as they're developing and what makes sense. But so yeah, so I don't. Henry, have you had a chance to look at the card yourself yet?
Yeah, I got it pulled up too.
Okay, cool. You know what? There's the when it comes to the 0 hour, the pre-show, I know they're going to be filling this up, and I know with an extra week away, they're always going to fill in some more matches because AEW pay-per-views seem to be about 4 hours in length these days, but which can be a good thing. If it's on a Saturday night, I don't mind if it's longer, but Sunday night, it gets a bit long when it gets close to midnight on a Sunday night.
I agree with that one.
Especially if you got to work on Monday morning. So, and I don't know. And I don't know if you know anything about. I mean, it's funny that there's like 0 hour. We got QT Marshall versus Big Boom AJ. I know. I'm not sure. I did see something about Big Boom wanted, and it was I challenged QT Marshall. I think it was, but I don't know. Are you familiar with Big Boom AJ?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I haven't heard. So I'm not really sure what the deal is with that, or what's the whole point. But I guess QT Marshall, I guess I know he's been a big, I guess, working backstage, with the guys and storylines, and I think that's where he's been spending most of his time recently. Because I think he left AEW for a while and came back, but he's just been in the back working. But I think he looks to be, from what I saw, he looks to be in pretty good shape, better shape than when he first came to AEW a few years back.
Yeah.
So again, the next one I have on my list, which we've got here, it's the AEW World Tag Team Championship 4-way match. What we've got, Private Party, and it's going to be either FTR or House of Black, which I guess we'll find out after this week. I believe is it this after this either Dynamite or Collision?
I think it's Dynamite.
And of course we've got it's either going to be the Acclaimed. Or La Faction, but it's I think that we've got right now the Outrunners. They've made it. They're through, right? So,
Yeah.
But how do you like? It's I don't know. How do you feel about Private Party being the tag team champions right now?
I don't mind it. I mean, it's good for them. I just hope they keep it and not drop it to like FTR or the Outrunners. But even the Outrunners would probably be pretty decent, the amount of fan support they have now.
Yeah. I get it with Private Party, right? I know they've been there since the beginning. They've been there since day one. So I don't know if this was a bit of a, hey guys, you've been here, you've been working. I know, I guess it was Quinn was, he was hurt for a long time. I think he was almost out for a year. I think he was right with an injury.
Yeah, I believe so.
Right. So, and I get it that maybe they might have won the tag championships earlier if he hadn't got hurt. So maybe this is Tony Khan's way of kind of rewarding them for for their work and being there right from day one. So it is nice to get the titles on someone else, and I get that. But it's funny, how the Outrunners went from almost like a jobber team, and they've just really worked them. And I've mentioned many times on the show before, one of the things I think that AEW does really well is the vignettes that they put together for the guys, and I think they've done a great job with the Outrunners and making it look like that cheesy '80s feel to it, with the music and the gear. But they've blown up. I mean, people love their acts. They just love everything about them, the names, the look, the gear, the moves. It's amazing, and I like it. It's nice, and I think it's one of those teams that obviously these guys have talent, right? But now that they've got that push and people kind of get behind them, and they've really skyrocketed. And I just saw, they've got the fanny packs that you can get, and they've got the shirts, and that's like that pink, the bright pink, doing like the neon pink stuff.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So, I can see. I mean, I don't know. I love FTR and House of Black. I don't know. Do you want to? I mean, do we want to see the belts back on FTR, or if we had enough of FTR being the chance for a while, and should we throw it on someone else for a while, or should Private Party keep the belts, as you say?
I think Private Party should keep them for have a nice little run with them for a little bit.
Yeah, I think this would be a big one. I think it'd be a big surprise if Private Party doesn't win. I think they need a big win like this to help solidify them as a champions or legitimate champions. If they can get through and beat some of these big teams or the kind of the teams that are, on the rise. So, but it'd be interesting. And I don't know how you're feeling. Did you feel the Acclaimed has lost a bit of its luster in the last few months?
Lack of TV time and all that. I believe so. Yeah, they lost their popularity a little bit, and I think Private Party just picked up their popularity.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think, and I kind of feel the same is happening with Top Flight.
True. Yeah, Top Flight. Yeah.
All right, so which I'm fine with. You know what I mean? I kind of like making room for a team like the Outrunners. So, I think we will agree. I think say if we go back to the 0 hour pre-show, I think QT Marshall is going to win over Big Boom, AJ, whoever that is.
I agree.
Right, and I think I would agree with you that Private Party will win this 4-way and keep the titles, kind of solidifying them as a legitimate champion. Because I still feel that they're a bit of an underdog. Like when you put them against, House of Black and FTR, to me they're still the underdog, even though they're champions.
So they're the more underdog than the Outrunners? I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, right now, I think so. I mean, they're definitely talented guys, for sure. But so anyways, we'll see with that. And so the next one I've got here, we've got either MJF versus Adam Cole or Roderick Strong. But I think we both feel the same way that we think this is going to be a triple threat.
I believe so, yeah.
So this will be interesting because you're going to get that aspect of Roderick and Adam having to go at it. So we haven't had that in a while.
That is true. And again, what if we say MJF recruits Wardlow? What if we get Wardlow back at Full Gear?
You know what? I've said this on other shows, and I mean, I don't know if you've heard, listened to any of the shows, but I would love to see Wardlow. I think it'd make more sense to have Wardlow come back, look like he is going to help Adam Cole, but actually goes against him and joins back up with MJF as his bodyguard. Or I would love to see him back with MJF.
Yeah, he had a good run with MJF. I'm going to admit to that. But since he left MJF, Tony's been booking him wrong. I
know. Well, he's non-existent right now, right? And which is a shame because he had so much promise. I mean, when he was, people were loving him and couldn't wait for him to stick up for himself against MJF. And then all of a sudden that kind of happened, and then they went on a bit of a run. They threw the TNT title on him. It just didn't seem like a legit run, and then they put him with with the Undisputed Kingdom, and nothing. He hasn't been seen in months. So maybe we're going to get this. Maybe we will see this. Maybe there's a reason why he hasn't been on TV. Maybe they're kind of keeping him for this type of scenario. But What do you see? Do you think that could you see that as
Yeah, I
a
could see him reuniting with MJF. I mean, he did wonders for his career at the beginning there when he joined MJF.
yeah, I think so. So do you think that makes the most sense from a storyline perspective?
From a storyline perspective, I'm going to say, yeah, what you said about him looking like he's going to come down and help the Undisputed Kingdom and just like go the other way and rejoin MJF.
So I guess with this, so I'm wanting to see what happens, right? Because you've got as of right now, like they're pushing Adam Cole as the baby face. You've got the the Undisputed Kingdom, which have been heels. So where do we see this going? Because again, are they going to go back to heel faction, or is with the whole Wardlow, coming in, maybe joining with MJF? Is that going to turn the whole potential this Undisputed Kingdom to faces at this point, baby faces? I'm not really sure where they're going to go with this when they've got Adam Cole as a face at the moment, but Roderick is technically still a heel.
Yeah, and then you got Kyle in the back watching like everything that Adam's doing, and so maybe Roderick, not Roderick, Kyle O'Reilly will come out and help the face turn with Adam and Roderick Strong and Taven and all them.
Yeah, and I think it needs something. I think a lot of people are waiting to what's going to happen with the with the Undisputed right now. You know what? I would like to see Kyle O'Reilly back with those guys actually. So I don't know
exactly.
I'm not a big fan of the conglomeration. I'm not really a huge fan. I just don't think that. I mean, I think Kyle O'Reilly is a better fit with Adam Cole in those guys.
Yeah, I agree.
To be honest, right? Kind of bringing that's the old school. It's too bad they can't. I guess I don't know if we're ever going to see Bobby Fish again, or where he went or what he's doing.
I think he's in the UFC. I think he took up MMA. I believe so. Yeah, that's what my son was telling me.
Really?
I'm not really 100% sure, but a couple months ago I was asking him about him. He's like, I think he's fighting in the MMA now. He's training for MMA.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. I like them. I like them. I used to love the Undisputed back in the day when it was all those guys. We did see a glimpse of that in AEW when all those guys were together for a while. But anyways, so who do you think out of that? Who you picking to win?
I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna go with Cole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what?
I believe he has the momentum with beating the bigger names right now.
I have a feeling. My feeling is MJF is going to win with Wardlow's help, and he's going to pin Roderick. So that way, Cole doesn't get it's not technically a loss or a pin against him. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily hurt him with the loss.
That's true.
So that's how I have a feeling. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens there. And the next match that we've got is Hangman Adam Page versus Jay White. How do you feel about this one in this matchup?
Oh, that's a toss-up for me. It could go either way, I believe. They're both hungry right now. They both have a pretty good storyline going. So I believe it's a toss-up. You're going to have to see a bell time, I believe.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you take in consideration that Jay White, he won the last meeting and a clean pin. So, I have a feeling that Hangman's going to win this one to keep, because I don't see him losing two in a row, two big matches against Jay White, right? Especially if they're trying to keep him as a kind of rising heel. I think he'll lose too much momentum if Jay White wins back-to-back matches against him.
That is true. That's why I said it's a toss-up for me, because I'm not really sure who's going to come out on top. But yeah, what you're saying makes sense.
But because it's weird to see potentially it's almost like Jay is the face in this matchup. right? Where he's always been a heel for the most part, or for a long time. I mean, probably the majority of his career, he's been a heel. So it's kind of interesting to have him as the face, against a raging Hangman Page.
Yeah, I
So
agree. I agree with you with there. Yeah, it makes sense.
yeah. So, anyways, well, we'll see. Because I think, because again, I think we're still going to get more Swerve in Hangman. Like, they take breaks from them, they go back, they take breaks, and then it's never really resolved with those two. So, you know, it never seems to end, right? I don't know if we're going to get a final match and say, this is it. This is the last match these guys will fight against, right? Or if that's it. So it's kind of interesting. But how do you like the Hangman, this version of his character? Are you a Hangman fan, or are you more of a fan now, or less of a fan now?
I've always been a fan of Hanger.
Yeah.
So what he's doing now, I just find it pretty good for his character and switch to being the angry guy that's always like looking for a fight.
Yeah. No, I think so. I think so too. It's like the bigger the mustache, the angrier he gets.
True.
He's got that Magnum TA look, which yeah, for the mustache, and I like how they did change the music and everything and give him a bit of attitude. And I think this is a better version of him, because people were starting to get on his case about kind of being looking lazy and not being entertaining. But he's still entertaining. But at the same time, Jay White is also one of these guys that people are complaining that they're underutilizing. They're not giving him the break. He should be higher up in the card. He should be getting more championship matches. So, it is tough because, again, if he loses, does Jay also lose momentum, right? Unless it's not a clear pin. So as long as if there's some maybe interference, then that makes sense, because it's if Hangman uses something against him, a foreign object, then it doesn't hurt as much. But if it's a clean pin, that's when it tends to hurt guys a little bit.
That's true. Or we could get the interference from Juicy or the Ass Boys.
True, because I don't think they're on the card at all. So
no, I don't think so.
Right, so that could that could bring. So yeah, we'll see what happens, right? So, but yeah, I think so. For this one, I'm going to go with Hangman for this one. And so, who are you going with for this?
Like I said, at bell time, but I'm leaning more towards Switchblade, Jay White.
Okay, all right.
Right. He needs a big win too here and there. He can't always hold those trio belts.
I know. No, I agree. I do think that after this, I can see maybe Jay. They need him into more of either go into a feud for the TNT title or one of those international belts like the other two. So he needs something. I agree. Maybe it's the Continental or the International. I always get them mixed up.
I think the Continental tournament starts soon too, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think they're doing it again. So
yeah,
I think they'll put maybe not so much the TNT title, but I think maybe the Continental or the international title.
I can't see international. I think they're going to let Ospreay keep. Doesn't Will have it still? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure Ospreay still has it.
Yeah. Well.
Oh no, Takeshita does.
Yeah. So who has the Continental right now? Is that
Okada?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Takeshita. You're right. So yeah. I think they're going to. I think they're going to. I think they're holding off and letting Ospreay. They're going to keep him after this feud with, I guess,
the Don Callis family.
Yeah. Then I think he'll move him up. So I think there's going to be. I think we're going to probably get a Moxley and Ospreay feud coming up soon, which actually be pretty cool. It's very different styles.
It is very different styles. You got the high flyer and the no seller.
Oh yeah, more just the brawler, right? But I think that would be a really good one, and I can't wait. I mean, if there's any indications, I would love to see Kenny whenever Kenny's back. I know he made his appearance there in New Japan, but I guess he was just kind of like, hey, when he's better, he's kind of picked out who he wants to fight, right? But I don't think they've set him for his first match back, have they?
No, I don't think so. But I was reading today that they're trying to set up for him and Okada in AEW. So could be something to look forward to. We could see the return at Full Gear or, Wrestle Dream. I imagine Wrestle Dream will probably be a better place for him.
Yeah, no, you're right. But hopefully Kenny gets back.
Give him that extra month there.
I mean, honestly, I can't wait to see. I think a great feud would be Kenny and Ospreay, because we haven't seen that in AEW.
Oh yeah, we've seen that Forbidden Door.
Was that Forbidden Door? Okay.
Yeah, we've seen that Forbidden Door. Oh. I think both of them. I think.
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, I think it's time for. Hopefully, Kenny gets back. I know he had a pretty debilitating injury and very almost like possibly career ending. So, but
yeah.
I guess it's one of those things that if anyone can come back from an injury, at least it could be it's Kenny can. But,
yeah, because even I was looking at watching Dynamite last week. What was the Young Bucks like shredding everything once they lost? Are they like setting up for Kenny's return? Is what I was wondering. Now they're shredding all the documents that they did wrong and all that because the other EVP is ready to come back.
Yeah, because I was hearing something that they're kind of preparing, I guess, to be some time away. So I don't know if they're going right. So I don't know if it's going to be a bit of a change in character, maybe a different. The storyline has to change now. Maybe they felt now they dropped the belts. It gives them a chance to take some time off, maybe move back kind of away from that role. So it'd be interesting to see what's happens there. But the next match we have here is Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley.
Oh, I don't know about this one right now. Bobby hasn't wrestled in 3-4 months now, maybe longer.
Yeah.
But you know what? Swerve's been on a heater lately, except for that last loss to Hanger there.
You know what? I have a feeling that they got to put Bobby over.
They can't have to, yeah.
I'm a big fan, and I love how they've brought back the Hurt Syndicate. Formerly the Hurt Business. Actually, I love the name. I think the Hurt Syndicate. I think the name is better. So it's interesting because I was wondering because they had a little interview with Leo Rush, and I don't know if you saw it. And it's on I think it was on Collision. And he pulled out the card, and he's like MVP's card.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I actually think because again he's got the history. Remember, he was a mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley in WWE for quite a while. So, I mean, I think it makes sense. Now he can't, so he could be the side mouthpiece again because I think MVP is a great mouthpiece, and I love managers. I love the fact that they brought managers back, especially in AEW, that they've really found that role and need and a want for the managers. And I think every longtime wrestling fan loves managers.
Oh, yeah.
I think managers were huge for putting guys over. I mean, guys like Bobby Heenan and Jimmy the Mouth, Jimmy Hart.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Fuji. These guys were the mouthpieces. I mean, you could put guys over, right, by putting them with a good manager with a mouth. So, and I think that's what's hurt a lot of guys, like a Wardlow, for example. I think he's great when he's got a mouthpiece, right?
Oh,
someone who can speak, be for him. You know what I mean? Like you need that kind of appeal. But I don't know. I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley for this one. I think he's, his first match back in AEW. I just can't see him losing his first match.
No, I can't see that either. As much as I'd want Swerve to win, I think it's going to be Lashley.
Whether it's because you know what, there is a lot of history with Leo Rush and Swerve. I don't know if you've seen any of the old matches that they've had over the years. They've actually had quite a few matches and really good matches. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Leo come out almost proving himself to the Hurt Syndicate and then causing something, stirring things up with Strickland and because we haven't seen them fight, I don't think, in AEW, but they've had a lot of matches in other promotions over the years.
Yeah, I remember those ones. Yeah, they were pretty good.
Yeah, so I think it makes sense because again, who was it? Do you remember who it was that was part of the Hurt business? I forget what his name was. He actually was a tag team champion with Sheldon Benjamin. He
AEZ or something like that.
Yeah, I forget what his I forget who his name was. I don't know if anyone is watching, if anyone can remember who that was, and it just his name slips my mind. But anyways,
Charlie Haas or something like that.
No, it was with the Hurt business.
The Hurt business. Oh yeah. I'm going a little bit too far back.
Yeah, you're going way back. You're going back to like the Team Angle days.
Yeah.
Right?
I can't remember. I could picture him. I just can't remember his name.
Yeah. Geez, I can't remember. So I was actually wondering if they were going to bring him back, but the fact that I saw that backstage kind of interview or vignette or segment, with Leo talking about it, I'm like, okay, because they don't have anyone like him. Because the other guy that was with them was more of that high flyer, right? A bit smaller, more agile. So I think Leo could come in and take that and be that version, that type of person in the group. But I actually, to go back, if you kind of continue the chat, but the Hurt Syndicate, I actually got frustrated. And I think a lot of fans got frustrated the way that they broke up the Hurt business originally, and then the way they basically turned Sheldon Benjamin into a jobber, which I think a lot of people got frustrated with because they didn't feel that he deserved to be a jobber, and he still is a powerhouse and still can be a top guy.
Oh, I agree.
So I was really glad to see that AEW recognized that and bring him back, and they're pushing him as a star, which he needs to be. I think he's solid, right? So I really think WWE dropped the ball on the Hurt business. I don't know why they broke them apart. WWE is notorious for that, for breaking up groups too early. Not giving it proper time to tell the story, to keep together. They just want to break them up.
Unless they're married to the boss's daughter.
Exactly. So it looks like there's not too many. I only see one women's match on the card so far. Anyways,
I think Mercedes versus Statlander, I believe, right?
Yeah. So okay, so maybe I've missed something, and maybe you know a little bit more about what's going on with Chris Statlander. Is she gone back to a babyface?
I believe by the looks of it, yeah, she's gone back to a babyface.
Like, what happened? I mean, I don't even remember when that happened, because I'm watching. She was wearing black gear. Now she's all back to colorful, using that. So, and then she had what's his face as her manager.
I think after she ditched Stokely is when she went back. Yeah.
I didn't see that. I guess I missed that. Did she actually ditch him and say or did that just phase out?
I think it just kind of phased out, but I could be wrong. But I noticed that too. Once Stokely was out of the picture, she's back to wearing her colorful stuff and gear and all that.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just because they're like, oh, we need another solid baby face, so we need to turn you back to baby face, which to me didn't really make sense, because actually was look forward. I think she could have kept on a heel run for longer, right?
Yeah, I agree. Because we do Julia Hart that's going to come back. She's got a heel.
Yeah. Did you? I guess they on Collision they did a vignette. I don't know if you saw that with Julia Hart this past weekend.
I think that was because it's her birthday recently.
So I don't know if you saw it on Saturday, but they had her. I don't know if it was almost like a dream sequence, and it had her in her cheerleader outfit, and she was on the field, and then she had her alter ego was sitting in the crowd, and it was just like that, I guess that fight between that good and evil.
Good and evil, yeah.
And then they had her, the Black Heart version of herself, actually shoot her with an arrow in the heart, and then she woke up. So I guess this is kind of this is symbolizing, her return eventually. I'm not sure what her injury was. Do you remember what why she was out, or did they mention why she was out?
I don't think they mentioned it, but I could be wrong there too. I believe it's something like her neck or something.
Yeah. So again, an interesting vignette. So, but hopefully they bring her back to. It looks like they're going to bring her back to her character and not just bring her back and like, oh, we just kind of forgot about all that and we're just going to start something new, which sometimes happens.
Oh,
Like
well, yeah,
Sky Blue, for example, like that. They just did that with her.
like I was wondering too, like what's going on with the House of Black? I almost called him Alistair, but Malachi there shaking Cole's hand at the end. Looks like he was ready to leave AEW at a little bit there.
Well, I did, and a lot of people had that same reaction. But I watched his little video he posted, basically saying like, he's like, I don't know why I need to explain myself every single time I lose a match. Everyone always thinks after every match that this is my last match and I'm leaving. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. It was a sign of respect. I wish I could stop having to address this because again, as soon as that happens, everyone's like, oh, that's it. He's leaving. But he keeps on saying, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. And then the rumors were always like, oh, no, he's on his way out. No, WWE wants him. So it must be very frustrating to always have to explain yourself or to think that you don't have loyalty, because that's kind of what people are implying, that he's not happy. He's ready to jump ship. He's disgruntled, right? So I can see why it's probably frustrating for him to have to always explain himself
Explain himself, yeah. But no, I was just wondering because it was nice seeing the whole Aleister Black entrance. Not gonna lie, his entrance in WWE was a lot better than the House of Black now. That was like one of my favorite entrances in WWE, with his rising up from the stage kind of deal.
Yeah, because then they have on the screen, they had because they had all the candles, right?
Yeah.
Lit. Yeah, that was actually pretty good. I mean, I still love when the guys come down. I love when they do the face paint, and I love when they wear the masks.
Yeah,
when they come down. And God, is there anyone? I mean, if in AEW, actually in all wrestling, is there anybody who has a better physique than friggin' Buddy Matthews? Like the guy is insane build. Like,
yeah. Well, when you're dating mommy, you kind of have to keep in shape. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, she'd be a good workout partner because she's
right.
Right. But the guy has got like probably one of the best physiques in all of wrestling. Like he's just unreal. His proportion. He looked like a superhero.
He does, yeah.
So I just hope they continue on. And I think they, if you're talking about House of Black, I mean, especially if they bring Julia Hart back.
Where's Brody?
Yeah. Like, I think these guys need to have the Trios championships back on their waist.
Yeah, I think so too. They need some gold.
I think so too. I mean, I do think they're underutilized a bit, but I definitely think that they need another big push.
And the AEW trios, not the ROH trios.
Oh, yeah. Are the ROH? I mean, I just think, to me, what's the point of having Ring of Honor anymore? Like,
I think it's like AEW's NXT. I don't want to offend anybody. Like ROH was amazing back in the day and still kind of is, but it seems like Tony's using it as his version of NXT.
But at least NXT has a look and feel to it. I don't think ROH does anymore. It used to. It had its own branding. It had its own look and feel. Had its own wrestlers. Had its own, roster. That's all they did there. Now, it's like, oh, let's just put the belts on these guys. Let's put the belts on these guys, and we'll just have them show up and have it defended on Dynamite. Where it's just like doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean anything like it used to. At least with NXT, they keep it very specific, and they keep, for the most part, it's its own show, it's its own feel, it's its own card. They keep the championships on the show. Where I just feel like Tony just uses it wherever it's like throws a belt on a guy just to keep him happy. Like, okay, well, Jericho's going to be the champion. Okay, let's put, like, why would you put the tag belts on Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes? Like, that to me doesn't make sense either, right? I don't know. I just feel like they're just there. They're really making them feel like secondary belts.
I think Tony did that to keep Dustin in his promotion instead of going back with his brother. Because really, I honestly, me and my friends around, my son that were watching WrestleMania, we really thought Dustin was coming out at both WrestleManias because he was non-existent in AEW for like months leading up to it. So we really thought Dustin's going to come out and help his brother.
Yeah, you know what? And that would have been pretty cool.
It would have, yeah.
It would have been kind of nice to see the kind of like a full circle with that, right? So, but I'll give it down to you. I'm glad they're utilizing him. He still can go. Like he's still fit. He can still wrestle. Like for his age, he's still like he doesn't stumble. You know, like sometimes you get these older guys that you kind of like you see them, you're like, I can see their age, but you can't really tell his age in terms of his skill set still. Like he still goes strong, you know, with whoever he fights against.
I think it's because, you know, he lost. He was maybe kind of tired of the whole Goldust persona in WWE. So maybe he's having fun again, you know, in AEW. He's enjoying wrestling again. He's having fun. He's everything.
Yeah,
no, candy store.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I like how he uses that. He still kind of uses a bit of that persona. Like again, he still wears the full suit. Yeah. He still does the half paint, right? Which is it's still kind of paying homage to that character because it's still him, but it's you know what I mean. He can at least be himself, but still represent and still have that full suit he's always worn and known for, right? With the Goldust character. So I definitely I like how he's maintained that. So. But anyways, I guess we digress. But yeah, I mean, I think he still can go with the best woman. I'm sure he's a bigger backstage presence in terms of trainers than we think he is.
Yeah, I agree.
So going back to the TBS championship between Mercedes and Chris, who do you think is going to come out on top on this one?
It's probably going to be Mercedes, but I'm hoping Chris does.
I have a feeling Camille's going to interfere in some degree. Can you see? I mean, now just say if Chris is somewhat going back to a baby face, can you? I'm almost for some reason I almost feel like I can see Willow come out to help her, even though they battled, like almost like they're friends again. You know what I mean?
I could see Willow coming out, but I could also see if Sky Blue's, you know, healthy, also coming out. You know, they all want to crack at Mercedes.
True, but I guess in terms of, you know, Willow makes sense also because she's feuded, like she's also fought. Like to come out like Sky Blue, I don't think she's had much. Like she hasn't had a real like friendship shown with Chris Statlander, I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
Or in terms of why that it makes sense. Now, if I'm hoping, I mean, it makes sense if Julia Hart comes back.
I was just going to say that.
You know, that I would love to see them reunite and put Sky Blue back with Julia Hart because I kind of like that tag team. That, you know, and having, because I said basically since we started doing the podcast, like that they need AEW women's tag belts. I think they could. There's so many underutilized ladies backstage that they could utilize a lot more. Create the teams, create new personas, you know, like, but they're just not. Like, I just feel like there's the women's division is it's just so like underutilized and inconsistent. That's probably, you know, I think way more inconsistent than what WWE even doing, right? And sometimes WWE even gets slack for their use of the women's, their women there.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna have to agree with you there. Yeah, we do need women's tag team titles in AEW, but we got so many titles in AEW, which we bring in ROH titles. We bring, you know, we got to stick to just the AEW titles, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know, I agree. And I don't think there isn't. Ring of Honor doesn't have women's tag titles, do they?
I was just wondering the same thing. I don't think so.
I haven't seen them. I mean, so I think they just need, instead of bringing out another singles title, I definitely think that they could, you know, I think they could really utilize tag titles, really utilize now you've got teams, you've got way more women used on TV time. It's a great way to bring back faces because it's something new, and it's an easy way to create a new persona, a new personality, a new team, new moves, new gear, right? So you could have a tag tournament and you could easily have 4 women's teams or even 8 battle it out, right? And I think that would really kind of show you some of the possibilities for teams. So I don't
Well,
know.
then who would be your dream team for the women?
You know who I liked? I actually thought I'd love to see Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter back together.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
I also like there's a lot of these women that are kind of floating around that could be teams. I think you can put them together and just, like.
Well, obviously we got Mercedes and Camille.
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Yeah, you've got that team. You've got Julia Hart and Sky Blue when she comes back. There's another team.
Then you got Soraya and who's her little lanky?
Yeah, the Cameron, is that there or what's?
I can't remember her name. Harley Cameron or something.
Yeah, so you've got them. Who would? If Toni Storm comes back, it's too bad because she would have had Mariah May as a tag partner.
Well, with the feud going on between Mariah and Anna, I'm going to say Anna Jay for Tony.
Yeah,
that's my best guess.
And you've got some of these. You've got a lot of women. When you see the lineup, and then now you got Penelope Ford back.
Yeah, she's back now too. Yeah,
right. So you've got a lot of Anna Jay and Penelope Ford would actually could be a good team, right?
That's true.
Again, and then there's what's her name? The one who wears the face paint, the skull.
Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa. You got Thunder Rosa in there. You've got the Virtuoso, right? You've got
There's so many of them.
You've got because again, we forget about them all. But if you saw a list, I think there's probably a list of 30 women, but we're only talking about maybe 10 that we can remember.
Yeah, because you also got the ROH Women's Champ. What is her name? Athena now?
Yeah, which I've never been a big fan of Athena personally, but
I haven't seen a match of hers since WWE. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I personally I've never been a fan of hers. I know a lot of people do like her, but I've never been a big fan. But so, anyways, you know what? I'm going to go with Mercedes as well. I think there's going to be some interference with Camille. Maybe it would solidify again. If we're talking about women's teams again, Chris Statlander and Willow, that was a team, right?
Yeah.
So I could see Willow coming back out to save her friend and let bygones be bygones and move along. So we'll see about that. But so the next match we've got is the AEW TNT Championship with the current champion of Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia. Actually, I like what Jack Perry's done with the belt. I like how they've made it a little grungier, a little darker. I like that it's not so shiny. I think
a little more scapegoat.
Yeah. So, with this one, I'm going with Jack Perry to retain the title.
I would like to see Daniel win it, but most likely it's going to be Perry.
See, this is another weird one, right? Because we see glimpses of the still a feud there with Daniel Garcia and MJF. Which doesn't feel like it's completely over. But then there's the feud with MJF and Adam Cole has to finish. And then, do you know what I mean? So it's weird. I don't know. It's what makes sense, but I just don't see Daniel Garcia winning this one. I think it's not. I don't think they're ready to take the belt off of Jack Perry just yet.
No, but I do see what MJF was trying to do with Garcia, trying to bring out the mean side of Garcia instead of dancing all the time.
Yeah, I don't think has he been doing the dance recently?
No, he hasn't since since MJF took him out there. He hasn't been dancing at all.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do see at some point Daniel Garcia getting a title, and I think he will be a TNT champion at some point. I just don't know if they're ready to take the belt off of Jack Perry.
I don't think they're ready to take it off him yet, but like I said, my personal opinion, I would like to see Garcia take it, but I know that's not going to happen because, like you said, Jack Perry is doing some good work with the TNT title.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Which is weird because again, if the Bucks are out, and then I mean, are we going to see them? Because again, they were obviously the team, the elite.
Yeah.
The elite. Are they going to be with him and Okada? Are they just going to be kind of like singles guys, or are we going to see the Bucks back in so that kind of maintains the obviously the look and feel of the whole team?
I think it's going to depend how long the Bucks want off. They're probably injured or something. Minor bumps and bruises here and there.
Yeah, maybe they just want to take a step back, just like other guys kind of take over for a while. So we'll see what happens there. But as we gets into the world championship match again, I don't know if they're going to be adding on any more matches or they're just going to add in matches to the 0 hour. I don't know yet. But we've got Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy for the title. I'm going with Jon Moxley in this one. I don't know what. Who are you picking for this one?
Christian. Because he's trying to recruit Hook, right? So he's last Dynamite. He's telling him like I could be, take your career higher than your dad. Yada yada yada.
I mean, I know Christian still has the contract, right?
Yeah, so I believe Christian either with Hook or Luchasaurus comes back or something.
I don't think Luchasaurus is ready to come back. Is he still?
Wait! It's Killswitch, not Luchasaurus.
Killswitch, yes. I don't think because he was pretty sick.
Yeah, he was pretty sick.
Yeah. So I don't know if he's. I haven't heard his status in the last few weeks there. But I did notice, obviously, with Orange, I like him when he's wearing the black, a little more of the black denim, the black T-shirt as opposed to the light. I mean, I know AEW loves Orange Cassidy, and like I'm it's like he can do no wrong. This guy always seems to win. He always holds a title. I don't know. I'm going with Moxley because there's just too much momentum right now and dominance. It just wouldn't make sense for Moxley to lose.
I mean, if Christian doesn't cash in, I'm going to say possibly, maybe Darby comes back and helps, Orange.
But do you think they're going to take up Moxley? This is like Moxley's first defense, isn't it?
Mox squashed Punk like what in 30 seconds, like 2 minutes before.
But in terms of like this defense, like now he's got the belt back. This is his first as new champion. I think this is his first defense.
Yeah, I believe it is the first defense. But him, wreaking havoc on the locker room, and now everybody's out to get him. There's a good possibility that he does drop the title, and because the AEW locker room comes out and takes out. I don't know what they're called now. The Blackpool Combat Club. I don't know what they're called anymore.
Yeah, Death Riders.
Yeah, the Death Riders. Yeah, that's right. And they come out and take them out first, and then Darby, does his down from the ceiling like Sting, and then hits Moxley with a bat or something, and it takes off.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I think that Moxley's going to take this one. Now you've got the Death Riders could possibly show up and be around ringside, and then you've got the conglomeration comes down, right? Because they showed them all kind of feuding at the end of Collision, so there could be some kind of mayhem and chaos around the ring. But I think that Moxley takes this one. So, I mean, I don't know if we're going to see any other matches that are going to be adding to this. But
the big question is, will Christian cash in?
I don't think so. And I don't think yet on Moxley. Like, I just don't see it yet.
I can't see him cashing in on Mox.
Right? Not yet. I think it's one of these guys. It's like the guys who hold the money in the bank for almost an entire year before cashing it in, right? Which I think that's what happened I know there's been a few guys with Money in the Bank that held it almost to the day, almost a year, because you keep on waiting, and they keep on just dragging it out. So I think Christian's going to drag this out. That's
kind of like what Tiffy's doing right now.
Right, exactly. It's he's like, oh, is he going to do it? Oh, he's not going to. Oh, is he going to? Oh, he's not going to do it. Right. So I think that's what I think with Christian. I think that works for his character, to almost cash in, right, and then kind of step back. It's like, oh, not yet. And I just don't see him doing it against Moxley.
So but what if he does cash in? Wouldn't it set up a perfect to continue the feud with Adam Copeland? Title defense, Wrestle Dream. Adam Copeland comes back, Wrestle Dream again for the second time in a year.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
It's a toss-up. Papa Tony does some really crazy, unthinkable things with his promotion.
Yeah, I mean, you never know who comes back, who comes. I mean, there's always a lot of these unfinished storylines with AEW, right? It's where it's like, oh, okay, now he comes back and it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. Well, is it over? It's not over. He kind of keeps the door open on a lot of stuff. Like, prime example is Hangman in Strickland.
Swerve, yeah.
Right? That it's almost like it's never quite complete, right? And the Cole and JF, it's never quite complete. So, and it could even have it where the guys are they turn heel, they turn face, they turn back to heel, and the storyline still goes, right? So it'd be interesting to see what they're going to go with it. But yeah, so I mean, it looks like a pretty interesting card.
That's not even. Well, we got another. You just mentioned another one that's gonna be on the card. We just don't know if it's gonna be a 3-way or just Cole versus MJF or Strong versus MJF. So that's another one that's gonna be on the card.
Well, yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah.
So that, but yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you're right.
You picked MJF pinning Strong. That's right. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there, but that'll be interesting. I do feel like some of these matches are set up for some kind of heel turn, right? There's always something or somebody returns. That's why I kind of think that Leo Rush is going to come out, and he's going to be the fourth man for the Hurt Syndicate,
the junior mouthpiece,
right? And I do feel I wouldn't be surprised if Wardlow comes out, right? We're going to see him, so I definitely think there's a couple of surprises. So it'll be interesting to the show what we do after the pay-per-view to see what actually happens and how close we were to our predictions. But well, it's coming. That's good. We kind of hit that, and if there's any more matches that are coming up, we'll be able to kind of touch on them.
Are we not getting a women's title match? I thought Anna Jay was competing for number one contendership.
The only one that as of right now that I just saw on the list, the list I was looking at, it was only the Monet versus Strickland. Statlander.
Statlander, yeah.
That's the only women's match that I've seen on the card so far, unless they're going to add that one to like the 0 hour right before the show, or they're going to add it in. But there's no other matches, no other women's matches at this point, not from what I'm seeing. Unless something that could be added this week between Dynamite and Collision this week.
Yeah, because then Dynamite, we got Ford versus Baker.
Mm-hmm.
And something about we'll hear from Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, like none of these women are it. So it'd be interesting to see if we get another women's match on the card, because really there's only one right now. So I have to assume they probably at least have a women's match for the 0 hour. Like I got to assume there's got to be another one.
Maybe, like I said, I just don't understand what happened. Did Anna Jay win her number one contendership, or wasn't she was supposed to fight somewhere? Was it Rampage or Collision?
That could have been. I wonder if it's this week, or did
I was just looking at the card for Dynamite for tomorrow, and there's nothing about Anna Jay on there at all.
It could be on Collision.
Could be, yeah.
Could be on.
Because, like I said, Tony is going to load the card. He always does. It's always usually, like a week and a half before the actual pay-per-view. He just starts loading it with matches.
Yeah. No, totally. So, but you know what? Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. You know, we're coming up to our hour. You know, we'll have to see what's happening. I'm sure we're going to see a couple of probably a couple other matches that are going to pop up that are going to happen on this week between Dynamite and Collision. Then we'll get a full. Then we can even run through and see what the full card is going to look like for next week. But you know, I think we're good with the majority of the matches. So we'll see how close we are when it comes next week. But yeah, so that'll wrap it up for another week of AEZ All Elite Zone, and it was nice to meet you and have on the show, Henry, this week,
Yeah.
and I'm sure we'll see you again. And thanks for everyone who is watching and listening live, and also watching, you know, going back and watching the episode after the fact. So, hey, Riley, nice to hear from you.
Hey, Riley.
Thanks. Nice to see you. Hey, Davis. Nice to see you, and thanks for everyone who's tuned in. Really appreciate the support, and please tell your friends and family and like and subscribe, and that'll do it. And we'll do it for another week, and we'll see you all next week. And I'm sure there's gonna be lots more to talk about. There's more wrestling going on these days than there ever has been, I think, in history. So there's always something to talk about. But anyways, again, my name's Matt. And that's Henry, and we'll see you next week. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good night.